I am so supportive of the food, macros, how to eat, which diet, what you've described, what your research is, but how much does the exposure of the chemicals of those foods, how they're grown, how they're packaged, what the water contamination may or may not be that they're grown in, or even drinking water, how much does that weigh in on your messaging?
Okay. So let me just kind of level set to say, and this is not triggering for me. This is all good.
Good. I don't want to trigger you.
No,
I don't,
no,
not
no.
my
This
guest.
is why I'm hoping to trigger people's attention to this because it's based on research. So I'm throwing myself under the bus here. Years ago, when the organic movement was first taking off, I was a real skeptic. And in fact, I felt a little offended, to be honest with you, because why would I want to pay more money to have less chemicals on food that comes from Mother Nature? It just seemed wrong to me. Yeah, they were more beautifully packaged, and yeah, they all looked a little bit better, but maybe some of that's the marketing and the care that was taken for it. And somehow it just didn't strike me the right way. So I kind of rebelled against organics, but I can tell you, I've changed my mind based on more recent research. Here's what we now know oh, by the way, let me tell you. So the other thing that used to piss me off is that I have to pay more money so that I would have less harmful chemicals that were used to treat my food. Why would I want to pay more for less chemical that I didn't want to begin with? Right? Like, it's just offensive to me. Well, look, here's what we're now, and it's true, organically grown foods. It's not just the one with the labels, but any farmer who grows in the spirit of organic. And so I think that's important because there's a lot of ways that, that organic seal costs money and a lot of farmers can't afford it. And so especially small farmers. So if you actually grow in the manner of organic, you'll get the same effect and the food is just good. So it is true that many of the pesticides that are sprayed onto foods are harmful to the body and are difficult to get rid of. And this was a study by the USDA, by the way. You take a food like an apple, where you might want to eat the skin, or peach or pear, stone fruit, plums, and you spray them with pesticides, all right? First of all, you cannot wash off. The pesticide actually penetrates about 20% of the pesticide sprayed on, penetrates the skin and stays inside the skin. You cannot wash that off no matter how long you're sticking the apple under the sink. And most of us don't spend that much time rinsing the apple to begin with, right? So this is stuff you can't wash off. Non-organic, I tell people to peel off the skin and don't eat it. If you want to eat the skin, which you should, because it's a great source of dietary fiber and polyphenols, you want to choose organic. So that's less bad stuff, all right? Number one. But I got a positive message for you on that too.
Oh, yeah.
So, and this like opened my mind to this completely. I was at a conference in London with botanists, okay, people that study plants. And this was right after a paper that was published in the journal Nature, which is one of the most prestigious, rigorous scientific journals out there. And they were talking about a natural polyphenol that's found in strawberries. Right? We talked about lycopene in tomatoes. Well, strawberries has something called ellagic acid. In fact, ellagic acid is what's make a nice strawberry tart. So strawberries are sweet. They're a little tart. And the tartness comes from ellagic acid. Well, ellagic acid is made by strawberries. It cuts off the blood supply to tumors. It's actually good for your metabolism, burns down harmful body fat, is antioxidant, protects your DNA, lowers inflammation, as well as vitamin C in the same strawberry, and activates your stem cells. So what's not to like about strawberries? You'd want as much ellagic acid as possible. Well, it turns out that ellagic acid was discovered by these researchers, and now this has been replicated in other foods as well, as the amount of ellagic acid in a strawberry is made in response to the strawberry plant becoming injured, damaged by insects, critters, nibbling on the leaves and stems. It's a wound healing response, all right? So the more bugs are nibbling on the leaves and the stems, which doesn't make a very attractive strawberry farm. You got to deal with all these little pests, but it makes the strawberries, naturally grown organic strawberries, loaded with ellagic acid, which is what you want. When you actually spray with pesticides conventionally grown, guess what? Fewer pests. In fact, almost no pests. No nibbling on the leaves and stems. No injury, and the plant makes very little ellagic acid. So organic plants are more in their natural state, subjected to the things that you get in nature, which are little little insects and critters nibbling on the leaves and stems. No biggie. In fact, what it does is it stimulates the good stuff that we actually want in our body. That's the reason to buy organic. You get more good stuff. True with organic strawberries, true with organic apples, true with organic coffee, by the way. You get a lot more chlorogenic acid in coffee. You get a lot more chlorogenic acid in apples. All right. And this is a theme that's playing out in modern food as medicine research. I'm willing to actually consider paying more, and the cost of organics going down as well, but I'm willing to pay more to get more good stuff as well.
I think it's I love that you looked at it that angle, because when I talk, I always say, okay, so pesticides that are on fruit are always they're gonna affect your gut microbiome, and they're gonna knock off those pests, you know, those good bugs.
Yeah.
But what you're really describing is an evolutionary pattern of an organism trying to survive, and in the process creating something very synergistic for human health. And so when you take that exposure away to any degree, you're not just taking away the chemical itself that mechanistically will hurt your body, but you're taking away the actual innate benefits of that organism and how they evolved.
And think about organic, investing in organic as investing in health, because you're going to actually get more of those polyphenols that you actually want to actually get.
Yeah. And in terms of accessibility, I tell this all the time, and you can get frozen organics, which actually maintain all of their nutritional benefit because they're flash frozen. Yeah. And so now you have big box stores across the country who saw this writing on the wall when I realized that they weren't allowing any organic produce in or frozens in. I'm like, what's going on here? And then, wouldn't you know it, big box stores created their own organic food lines that were frozen produce. And so, again, I think that whole myth of organic being inaccessible cost-wise, I mean, certainly in food deserts, yes. But from a cost perspective, I have to push back a little bit from what I do when I shop. Yeah.
No, listen. And by the way, I did some social media a few summers ago in the middle of the pandemic. I went on a cross-country trip in an RV, and I stopped, and I wanted to show people, a lot of the video I posted was, I could stop in a little tiny town in the middle of nowhere, and I could still find something. And often I would find organic food, including in the frozen section. And so, this whole mythology that you can't get good stuff. I even think that the whole concept of food deserts do exist. I think that even in a desert, you can find little pockets of water, and that's what people should be looking for. So where are you going to go get that nourishing, refreshing stuff? Even in a food desert, there's almost no excuse of not looking for one.
Right. Yeah, it's a challenge. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to, because I'm in the Northeast here, as are you, but I do believe that there are ways to suss out places where you are and try to make the best of what you're offered.